What works better, Zyex or Kaplan? Kaplans, I love my Kaplans. What's going on? It's Jason Heath. I just realized I keep wearing my University of Texas Rio Grande Valley shirt in these videos. Got this cup from them as well. Fantastic bass school, by the way. I'm a longtime D'Addario Kaplan user, but about 6-8 months ago, something like that, I decided to put some Parastro Perpetuals on my bass. I shot a video about those, which I will link up to here. They work well, but I got called to play San Francisco Symphony. That's happening next week, and it got me thinking, do I really want to play these more jazz-oriented strings with the symphony? I know the Kaplans blend, not so sure that those Perpetuals blend, so I decided to start changing some strings. Now, I usually hate changing strings, but I ordered this little jobber here, which has made it much easier. By the way, you just take this, you can put it on your power drill, and you are good to go. If you ever want to see a power drill bass safety video, very niche kind of thing, let me know in the comments. I figured I might as well get some videos out of all these string changes, so I did a video comparing the Perpetuals to Zyex. I will link up to that here. Long story short, Zyex are very cool, but they again don't necessarily blend on my bass that well, although I have played some basses where they blend fine, so it really, I think, depends on your instrument. But I know the Kaplans work, and I know that they've worked great for me for the orchestral playing I'm doing, so I'm going to do a comparison between Zyex and Kaplan so you can see what will work best for you. I've had these Zyex strings on my bass for about a week, and I remember what I like about them. I remember what I am not so crazy about, but I do think they're very cool strings, and I found that these strings, unlike some other types of strings, really vary radically depending on what bass they're on. It could have something to do with the core, which is this really cool doll's hair. I actually got a chance to tour the D'Addario factory a few years ago and see these things being made. Really interesting. So what I think is really cool is just the sustain on these. Like, let me just play this harmonic. This goes on forever. It's still going. It's still going. It's still going. So that is just, that's cool. Also, boy, I love this pizzicato sound. I think for my bass, or maybe just the way I like to play jazz, I'm not much of a jazz player, but these really speak to me. They are slightly thicker than Kaplans. I guess we'll verify that in a second here. They're thicker than the Perpetuals. They have a bit of a different feel under the fingers. If I was mostly a pizzicato player, these might be the strings for me. Now, with the bow on my bass, they are bright. So it's just so bright. Not bad. But just on the bright side, a little bit sustainy, and their response is pretty good, actually, changing the bow back and forth, but they're just a little bit too much, I think, for the bass section. Now, I recently picked up a Baroque bow. I filmed a video about this, not sure if this is gonna be out by the time you're watching this, but this and these strings actually pair great together. They might be obvious because they're synthetic guts. So this sound, I think, is just absolutely fabulous. I love them with this Baroque bow. With my modern Baron Doling bow, cool, but there's something a little bit flabby about the pitch center to me. I don't know a better word for that. I'm sure there's a better word, but I find that it's hard to center the pitch, and that's something, if I'm then going into an ensemble situation, I don't want there to be any extra variables like that. So gonna get these off of here and gonna put the Kaplans on. We're gonna do some A/B tests so you can hear how they stack up sonically. You ever travel, stay in different hotels, then you come home and you get into your nice, comfy bed? That's how it feels having these Kaplans back on. I forgot how much I love these strings. It's incredible. They vibe so well with my bass. They feel like exactly what I need. Boy, this is turning into a Kaplan ad, but they feel so great to have back on. And just the first couple notes I played, it's funny because the Zyex and the Perpetuals, I kept on thinking, boy, I wonder if these are going to settle. But the moment I pulled a note with the bow, it feels right. I've had this feeling for the last 6 months or so with both the Perpetuals and the Zyex, just for this past week of like, I just don't feel like I have enough rosin on. And then I put on, I try to be careful because then it can over rosin and that's its own set of issues. But I thought, okay, well, I'll probably rosin up when I put these Kaplans on. Nope, put them back on the bass and they feel good as new. It's funny because the Zyex were hilariously bright compared to this low E string. Now it feels quite well balanced, actually. And I'm not surprised that these are a good match for my bass or any kind of modern bass like this, which this is a big sounding bass as far as basses at this price point go, and also fairly bright, clear sounding bass. So the fact that the Kaplans are a bit on the warmer side just seems to work well with this bass. Maybe if your bass was a bit on the darker side, either the Zyex or the Perpetuals would work to liven them up. And I do like the bow response with, I like the bow response with these the best by far. And again, predominantly orchestral player coming at you here. And then pizzicato, there's definitely a lot more dampening in the sound. I play that A harmonic, and it's still ringing. But it's not ringing like the Zyex was ringing. But boy, getting up into the upper register, that feels great, really nice and singing. The bow response is just so immediate. And just being able to switch the direction of the bow for anything that's more articulate, it's just incredible. The strings definitely feel a bit firmer, might be the word, than the Zyex or the Perpetuals. Not really like incredibly high string tension, but definitely they feel like they're just like a little bit, more condensed in their response than the Zyex. And that pitch issue I was having with the Zyex is not happening here. I feel like the core sound and the fundamental is coming out nice and clear, and maybe there's not that interesting kind of soupy quality of the Zyex that I actually find really attractive. If I was doing a solo recital or certainly playing some early music, I would love to use those strings, but these just feel like they're giving me what I want and they're responding the way that I like strings to respond. That's a look at Zyex and Kaplan strings. If you enjoyed this video, check out what we've got linked up for you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.